So let's talk a little bit about compilation. Anybody familiar with tiered compilation? This is where there's This is where there's a couple different kinds of compiling. So when you get your initial just set of code that then gets compiled down on the fly, JITted, just-in-time compiled, there are different types of algorithms you can use. And so oftentimes when an application's starting up, what do you care most about? Speed. You want it to compile quickly, and you want it to get running really fast. And this is the beauty of what they've done with .NET, is that, so you grab the code, you compile it, you get it running, and you spend a little bit of time compiling it. Now, if we would have spent more time compiling it, we, the compiler, would have spent more time compiling it, it would run faster, right? So we're trading off. Now, why not just have the compiler do that while the program's running? Right, be able to swap out and recompile a faster version that we can now begin to use. So these are some of the options with this. So you have some control over how this works. And especially now that we're doing pre-compiled executables, where you can compile them for a particular platform, this becomes something that you may want to be able to do. Again, it's just a really easy way. If you know you're going to target one environment all the time, you can release a pre-compiled version. And there are a couple of limitations. For example, on a Windows machine, I cannot compile a Linux executable. I still have to have a Linux machine to compile that executable. So there isn't cross-targeting yet. I'm hoping that will come at some point in time, so you could kind of give a broad spectrum of stuff. Although usually the JITting doesn't take that long, so it's not usually a huge deal. And that's the exact case where you can. So there is that case. There's about 3 or 4 that you can cross-compile from Windows to other ones. But they're all Windows flavors, just like an ARM. And I forget if it's x86 or x64. There's a list of them on the new stuff page from Microsoft. There's a change where when you do a build, your dependencies are getting copied automatically to your build folder, which was not the way it was before. It was only done on publish. And then there's also another option to do a major version roll ahead. And what this does is you can set your project by putting a project attribute in there that will automatically roll forward and upgrade your project to the next version of .NET. Now, I don't know if this is a great idea or not, but it does kind of push you to go forward, because what I've found is that if you try to, whenever you do maintenance on your project, to upgrade it to the latest stuff, you're going to experience less pain over time rather than trying to take that all in one big bite, you know, and then, oh man, zillion things are broken. It's easier to kind of move it along a little bit at a time, release often, even if you're not making changes. And this kind of goes back a little bit to, I'm going to use the word DevOps, even though Phil said not to use that. The reason to do that oftentimes is as things are changing, especially if you're writing the JavaScript crazy train with all these different versions of libraries, that even if you're not making changes to your executables, you're not making changes to your applications, redeploying them is pretty important, because you want to be able to pick up those new versions of things. And you just want to go through and upgrade, make sure everything's working. No new features, but try to keep them up to date if you can, because oftentimes it's going to do 2 things. It's going to keep your software secure, and it's also going to exercise your pipelines to make sure that when you do have to do a release, that the process for doing the release is a well-oiled machine, and it's not like, oh no, I gotta go touch that thing. We haven't even released it for 3 years. I mean, that's not the boat you want to be in when it comes to having to make a critical fix.